Hey there and welcome back to another Demon Slayer video. And today we're going to be talking about the latest episode to drop, episode 5, I Even Ate Demons, which I figured was going to be an episode largely devoted to Tanjiro training with the love Hashira, but actually served as a bit of a catch-up montage to power through some of the more intense characters. Fair enough. They want to get to the action as soon as possible, I suspect, and so, yeah, not much else for it but to jump straight into it, so let's get going, shall we? So the cold open of the episode follows Tanjiro as he arrives at Kanroji's mansion. And we did see this at the end of the previous episode, where she grabs his hand and drags him off to feed him, promising pancakes and butter. But this time, we get to see the end section, where she sits him down and hand feeds him some of the fluffiest, yummiest looking animated pancakes around. God damn. Watching this made me want to eat pancakes, you know? Like, look at the glistening of the syrup, the melty butter, the wobble. How am I drooling over a drawing? Although, I guess a lot of anime fans have probably found themselves drooling over a drawing before. Just for me, it's the food. And then she hands him tights to wear, like he's going to be a dancer, a ballet dancer. And here we come into one of the show's funniest ever sequences, where Kanroji seemingly runs a dance studio for the Demon Slayers. One that aims to limber up the recruits. Even here, in the happy house with pancakes, these poor bastards find themselves getting torn apart. Just the image of all these dudes in leotards blushing and doing dance moves trying to keep up was just excellent. Especially with Tanjiro being all hyped up and excited, doing all the moves correctly, just like with Tengen, and then with Tokido, he's acing the training, and so the episode lures you in. You think, oh, well, he's doing well, as usual. He aced the first 2 Hashira training sessions, so there's no reason to think that he won't ace this either. Only for her to show them a special limber up move that absolutely destroys Tanjiro's partner, and then she does it to Tanjiro as he screams. Oh, this section. It was probably peak hilarity for me. The moment where she spreads Tanjiro's friend's legs open, and you can just tell he's about to die and scream, and then Tanjiro's panicking, resigned to his fate, and yeah, this is just beautiful. And it sets the tone for Tanjiro's training beyond this point, which is just, ouch. But then, rather unexpectedly for me, we moved on straight away from her training, since I guess Tanjiro mastered it off screen, and we arrive at the Snake Hashira, who already hates Tanjiro. And why? Well, it's because this dude's thirsty for Kanroji. Much like most of the corps, it seems. And specifically, she wrote him a letter about Tanjiro that talked about all the fun they'd been having and how Tanjiro looks so adorable when he eats food. And of course, he doesn't like that, and he gets mega jealous. And so he builds his house of torture to punish Tanjiro, with all his trainees tied up, ready to be punished. With Tanjiro required to be able to hit the marks in between them without hitting them, learning precision. Also, I love that when Tanjiro asks whether they're criminals or being punished for something, Iguro replies, they committed the crime of being weak, of failing to learn, of annoying him and wasting his time. Which is doubly funny because clearly he didn't think that before. He was training them normally before he got the letter that made him salty, because you can see them running around in the background doing drills. Then he gets the letter and he snaps and starts working them harder and punishing them for failing, I guess. And all because he's mad that his crush was nice to one of her friends. Oh, these poor bastards. And Tanjiro, of course, gets in his own head about not wanting to hurt his comrades, which pisses off the Snake Man, and thus he decides to beat Tanjiro's ass. Ouch. And I guess this guy's just even more magic than every other Hashira, because during the course of their duel, where he just pummels Tanjiro again and again, he manages to make his wooden sword twist and bend like a snake, like actually move. And it's not just for show, because Tanjiro openly acknowledges, this shouldn't be possible for a sword to do. How do you even develop a technique like this? And after being utterly humbled like that, Tanjiro decides to keep putting in the work and swinging at the targets, even after his comrades have been cut down. And this in turn inspires them to keep working at it too. So once again, we see that Tanjiro is simply the best at inspiring the rest of the corps to become a tighter-knit unit, developing their skills simply by being him. Then they have a hot and painful bath that makes their cuts sting. Whew, this training. Do they have any recovery time, any days off? Feels like they're going to be too fatigued to battle any demons at the end of this. And so I kind of figured, oh well, now they'll get to train with Tanjiro, but nope. They're still tied up the next day. Also, Iguro can continue to wail on Tanjiro with no distractions. And so day 2, he gets the shit kicked out of him. Same with day 3, and for much of day 4, until it finally comes to him. He needs to stop thinking about the others as people and act like they're obstacles, rocks or trees. And in a forest, you can't afford to hit a rock or a tree. And he doesn't do so when he's fighting the demons in, like, the village. And so this allows him to actually unlock that next level and duel him for once, deflecting his attacks whilst using a few of his own, and eventually even cuts his sleeve. Also, I love how they acknowledge in the show this is the strongest Tanjiro has ever been, and yet when you think about it, he still clearly has nothing on this guy. This dude didn't take a hit. Tanjiro graduates from his class because he slashed his sleeve, not because he actually hit him or defeated him. And this guy was clearly not going all out, because we've seen him go all out fighting the Wind guy and Tokido. So there's a lot more room for Tanjiro to grow to be able to catch up to that. And on top of that, Tokido was versing this guy and the Wind guy 2 versus 1. So when Tokido fought Tanjiro and let him graduate, he was very much taking it easy on him. Yikes. Feels like the story's coming to a climax, so I don't think Tanjiro is actually going to be able to eclipse them. Maybe he's just going to win in the end through sheer determination or plot armor. The episode then hits a second peak in terms of hilarity when Zenitsu jump scares Tanjiro, looking like a ghoul, before screaming and crying and begging for mercy, revealing he'd lizard crawled all the way there and he needs help urgently. And this is when the Wind Hashira arrives and knocks him out. God, I love Zenitsu's rants. Their energy is truly unmatched, and the voice actor just goes off. He goes insane. And that combined with the absurd facial expressions and animation on all the different characters in the sequence, it's just so funny. And it elevates and gives another dimension to characters like the Wind Hashira, who are usually just portrayed in a far more serious way. So Tanjiro picks up Zenitsu and follows the Hashira, telling him he's excited to train, but is told in turn that he hasn't been accepted as his student yet, to which Tanjiro responds, well, he hasn't accepted him either, because he stabbed Nezuko, aka, I don't like you, which is a heck of an unexpected development. I mean, we've literally seen Tanjiro hold the hands of demons as they die to comfort them, to give them sort of absolution. So I did not expect the passive aggression right here, but it makes sense, and it was awesome. This dude is a bit of a douche. And yeah, this guy's training. It doesn't even feel like training. It just feels like a bully taking out his anger at the world on those weaker than him. His idea of training is simply, try to attack me, and I'll beat you until you're unconscious. At least I can see the purpose within Tokido and Iguro's sword training, but this is just brutal for no reason. He's not even giving them feedback, he's just hurting them. This guy's a real peach. He utterly destroys them over and over, focusing on Tanjiro in particular. This guy needs a therapist or something, or a straitjacket. I mean, in the next scene, Genyu appears and tries to talk with his brother, but is told to quit because he's weak and useless and can't use breathing techniques, and that he's no brother of his, and he doesn't care about his apology. Meanwhile, Tanjiro contrasts this to his own fights with his siblings, which were tickle fights. Man, this just makes me sad. I wish his siblings could come back to life. Reminds me of that really sad scene in the train arc where he lives in the fantasy land with his family. But yeah, Big Bro ain't having any of it until Genyu mentions that he's so determined to keep fighting that he's even eaten demon flesh before. And so I think this makes it clear in some sick, warped way, Wind Boy thinks he's protecting his little brother with what he's doing. So he decides that instead of getting him to quit, he'll ruin him so he can't fight demons anymore. What? He tries to gouge out his eyes, would probably snap his limbs and destroy him beyond repair. And it's like, okay, if he succeeds in doing this, what next? Say the demons are all dead at the end. What if Wind Boy ends up surviving that battle? Does he say, oh, hey little bro, so the demon threat's over. Isn't that lovely? Sorry about your eyes and body. Whoops. Like, what the hell? How do you come back from that? And so he stomps outside after Tanjiro swoops in. He threatens them. He tells Genyu to quit or suffer, which leads into a hand-to-hand battle with Tanjiro, where it kind of looks like he's trying to straight up kill him. I mean, a kick grazed Tanjiro's ear and slashes it open. What would have happened if that got him flush? It would have popped his head like a watermelon. And what do you know, Tanjiro actually ends up landing a blow on him, and it inspires the corpse to rally, and they mob the Hashira to try to stop the battle. But even then, said brawl goes all day. All day! Yikes, how are the corpse still alive? This dude's crazy. And in the end, it seems like Tanjiro's the one getting punished, because he's reprimanded and kicked out of the camp. Whilst this psycho dude seemingly gets off scot-free and is allowed to keep training people. Hardly seems fair to me. This dude sucks. The tough love characters are fun and all, but this dude's a step above that. He veers into psychotic, dangerous, and overly cruel territory. But yeah, the brothers are not reconciled. They will at some point, probably. I mean, the narrative would suggest so. I'm gonna guess that Genyu's gonna save him from a demon, and then they'll do the classic handshake, thank you brother, kind of thing. Something to earn his respect, show he's not a burden, he can protect himself. And so Zenitsu and Tanjiro are off to work with the Stone Hashira, who is also genuinely insane. The lads he's training already are in the waterfall, freezing I presume, and he's sitting up on hot coals in a fire. Yeah, rest in peace to Tanjiro and Zenitsu, this guy's crazy! So I guess the next episode's going to be equally insane. You love to see it. And so that's the end of the video, the end of the episode, and would like to say these have just been my opinions, and now I'd like to hear yours. What did you think of the episode? Do you like it, hate it? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know.